Tonight, a woman taken to hospital injured in a late-night crash as she tried to flee police. And after the storm, Port Germain's jetty repaired once again.
This is Southern Cross News with Tim Hatfield.
Good evening. A drunk driver had to be taken to Broken Hill Hospital with a broken thumb and a suspected fractured leg after crashing her car at high speed yesterday morning. She was allegedly trying to avoid police who were attempting to pull her over for a random breath test.
Lucky to be alive. At around 7 o'clock yesterday morning, police responded to reports of a fight on Oxide Street.
There wasn't actually a fight at that location. Police spoke to a number of people.
While police continued their interviews, the 30-year-old Broken Hill woman left the scene in a late model Holden Commodore.
Police have then commenced to follow her. They've activated their warning devices to pull her over to assess for the purpose of a random breath test. She's accelerated away from police.
Officers made the decision not to pursue the woman and head back to interview witnesses on Oxide Street. Before arriving, they heard reports of a loud bang at the corner of Bromide and Lane Street.
She collided with a power pole. The woman had actually been able to get out of the vehicle. It's understood that she sustained a leg fracture.
The woman had come down this Lane Street hill too fast, drove across Bromide Street and into the timber power pole next to the Broken Hill Public School.
You're looking at a significant speed, and that'd be part of the police investigation as to what was the speed, what's occurred, and investigate this motor vehicle accident.
Police extinguished flames coming from under the hood and emergency services arrived quickly at the scene. The crash left 70 homes without power for almost 12 hours, with Essential Energy replacing the pole just after 6 last night. The woman was taken to Broken Hill Hospital and police are continuing with their investigations. Patrick Reinke, Southern Cross News.
Police are continuing their investigation into the unexplained death of a Whyalla woman at a home on Mitchell Street. Just after 5 p.m. yesterday, the body of the 37-year-old was found in the house by relatives who flagged down a patrol car. Major crime detectives flew in last night and were on the scene today trying to piece together just what happened. The body was then flown to Adelaide early this morning for a post-mortem. Forensic investigators have examined the scene while police door-knocked the local area to speak with neighbours to gather information on what led to the death. Anyone with information is being asked to contact Crime Stoppers on 1800 333 000. Locals in Port Germain are in good spirits after their beloved wooden jetty was repaired once again. Last year's storms ripped through and tore apart not only the jetty, but the community as well.
This time last year, Australia's longest wooden jetty was in ruins. Fortunately, it was repaired, but several months later, devastation hit once again. Thankfully, the state government came to the rescue and last week the repairs were finished.
They've done a massive job to get it done. They was originally talking 6 months.
It was a tough year for the small community, but the council is confident the structure will survive the coming storm season.
We've fixed the patches that were weak, so I'm hopeful now they'll last for another 100 years without any trouble.
Without the jetty, business in Port Germain is almost non-existent. The community now again welcoming tourists to come and visit.
It's all good. We're open for business again and looking forward to everybody coming fishing and grabbing.
The state government came to the rescue. Without their support and funding, the future of the jetty and township would have been severely threatened.
I'm sure it was over $1 million, well over $1 million, I think, so there's no way we could have afforded it.
Keziah Sullivan, Southern Cross News.
The Port Augusta City Council has resolved to revoke the Narilda Nursing Home's land classification as community land. The aged care building has always been situated on community land, and the change will move the facility a step closer to being sold.
The Narilda Nursing Home is one step closer to being sold. The move to revoke its classification as community land was resolved at a council meeting late last week.
So to do that, under the Local Government Act, we have to undertake a revocation proposal and put that out to the community for consultation, and then Council has to consider those submissions.
On the card since last year, Council held a meeting in October to commence the revocation after an aged care review and resolved to go ahead with the process after another meeting in January. Council says community land should exist specifically for the community to enjoy.
Nerilda doesn't fit that criteria because community land is developed for the benefit of the community, such as Gladstone Square behind me. That's land that's opened 24 hours a day for the enjoyment of the community.
Now the state government will put in a submission to the Minister for Sustainability, allowing the council to purchase Nerilda's land and then sell it on.
Minister for Sustainability will have to consider an application in regards to council purchasing that land.
While the council has now revoked Nerilda's classification as community land, there are plans to subdivide as a part of the sale, with some land remaining under native title. Yet the council wants to assure families that residents will retain their place. The outcome of the submission is expected in 6 weeks. Amelia Simpson, Southern Cross News.
Well, stay with us. Still to come in tonight's local news, graduation day for the first class of education students to study in Whyalla. The details are Welcome back. Police are continuing investigations after a truck carrying an outdoor swimming pool rolled over on the outskirts of Broken Hill yesterday. The truck was travelling from Perth to Brisbane but rolled over 30 kilometres out of the Silver City. The driver, a 59-year-old Perth man, escaped without any serious injuries. The next generation of professionals have graduated from UniSA's Whyalla campus and are now ready to take on the world. The day was extra special as it was the first time that students to study education in Whyalla received their degrees, with some already finding employment in the city.
After years of hard work and long hours of study, Friday afternoon was all about the graduating students of UniSA's Whyalla campus. 33 students from 5 disciplines received their official parchment.
To bring families and students together after they're toiling over 3 or 4 or 5 years for their degrees. It's a wonderful celebration.
Vice-Chancellor David Lloyd joined in the celebrations and says the university's regional ceremonies have a more intimate feel to them.
Actually being able to give people the time individually makes such a difference, and as well as that, you know, we have the afterwards we get a chance to talk to them, so it's a much more community feeling.
It was also an historic occasion for the campus, as the first group of students who studied education in Whyalla graduated from the course, with all of them securing work in Whyalla.
So we've got, you know, wonderful outcomes from that program, and you know, it's looking really, really positive for the future.
New teachers Taylor Frush and Emma Chopin are proud of their achievement and hard work. Both say they're happy to stay in Whyalla and help the local community.
I'm very proud to give back to the community. It's nice to be able to stay. It is really nice, yeah, to give back to the community, especially when I am so familiar with all the locals and have a lot to do in town.
John Hunt, Southern Cross News.
Well, in a state first, South Australia will trial a shellfish reef which will be built on the Yorke Peninsula. The $500,000 project will be run by the state government and it's expected to increase recreational fishing in the area.
4 hectares of shellfish is being constructed off the coast at Ardrossan, and to form the new habitat, contractors are making the most of local supplies.
There's about 850 tonnes of limestone that will be deployed in a particular configuration that will form the basis of this reef.
The reef will then be seeded with native oyster, but the sole purpose of the project is to create a natural habitat for other fish.
Healthy habitat basically translates to healthy fish stocks. So the idea is to leave the oysters alone and to allow them to be the basis, the habitat for our fish stocks.
Once the fish start to flow in, PIRSA is hoping visitor numbers will increase on the peninsula.
That improvement in fish stocks is expected to lead to more recreational fishing and tourism in the area.
Once complete, it will be the largest shellfish reef restoration project in Australia.
It's in a suitable place for a trial like this to occur, and the feedback from the community was what led to the site being chosen.
The community is invited to have their say on the reef this Thursday night at the Ardrossan Town Hall. That
community forum is designed to provide information to the community and an opportunity for questions to be asked and for them to be answered.
Keziah Sullivan, Southern Cross News.
The Port Lincoln State Emergency Services are asking for everyone to wear orange to work this Wednesday as part of a national campaign to highlight the service of its members. The SES, which is run mostly by volunteers, is hoping to increase community awareness of the work it does and the people who do it.
It's time to paint the town orange.
Go to work, wear orange, have a bit of fun, take photos, and promote the state emergency service.
This Wednesday is National Wear Orange to Work Day to increase awareness about the extraordinary work of our local state emergency services.
People are coming in, they're having a chat to us, asking us what we do. They're getting a lot more familiarisation with what we can do.
The SES encouraging everyone to wear orange to support thousands of volunteers who every day put their life on the line. The SES have 40,000 volunteers nationally and 15 here on the Eyre Peninsula. During last year's September blackout, all of them left their own families in darkness to help save others.
It's a great feeling, definitely, being there, helping someone else out that is in need.
Port Lincoln and McDonald's already chipping in, changing their famous yellow arches.
The SES are a great organisation and help us in town. So, I'm going to have my staff here wearing some orange, and we're actually putting on a free meal for all SES staff in town.
Viterra also getting behind the cause by lighting up their silos orange for the week and are encouraging the rest of the community to do the same.
If more people were doing it, it'd make their life a hell of a lot easier, and because they're here to help us in the community.
Jason Kemp, Southern Cross News.
Well, when we return after the break, the weekend's footy action from across the region as West Whyalla continue their domination. The details ahead. Welcome back. A Volunteer Appreciation Day was held in Port Augusta today to kick off National Volunteer Week. Organisations from around the city brought their information to the tables around Gladstone Square to thank hardworking volunteers in the region. Those who attended included the SES, Red Cross and the Friends of the Arid Lands Botanic Gardens, aiming to spread the word about volunteering and urging people to get involved.
You might come in and see me at Red Cross, but decide, no, that doesn't, nothing there really suits me, but go to the State Emergency Service or CFS or Friends of Arid Lands and decide, well, hang on, that really suits me.
A New South Wales tourism campaign has holiday makers, avid photographers and filmmakers capturing their favourite vacation hotspots around the state. The What I Love About Holidays in New South Wales campaign wraps up soon, and Broken Hill locals and visitors are being encouraged to keep on snapping.
It could be a shot of your favourite milk bar, a sunset at the Sculptures, or a view from the line of load. There's a special place for everyone in Broken Hill. Already there have been some jaw-dropping entries across the state during the campaign. Broken Hill is already in the spotlight with this beautiful sunset photo up at the Sculptures.
Oh, look, it's great to see that we've had some entrances from locally from Broken Hill in the far west for the I Love New South Wales campaign. This is a great campaign that's promoting the outback in particular. So
far there have been over 10,000 submissions, with people from all over the state sharing videos and photos of their favourite holiday destinations. And Mayor Turley says there's still time for you to get your camera and find that golden spot.
Please, please, please submit your nominations. You've got 2 weeks to go. This is a time to showcase not only your holiday but your backyard, basically.
To take part in the campaign, you can upload your videos and photos at the Visit New South Wales website or share them on Twitter and Instagram. Just remember the hashtag.
Hashtag I Love New South Wales. You know, this is a good opportunity. You never know what you could win from this, but more importantly, how you can promote Broken Hill in the far west.
Entries close on Thursday, May 18. Patrick Roinke, Southern Cross News.
Over 60 vintage cars travelled to Port Lincoln over the weekend as part of the Federation of Historic Motoring Clubs. The antique cars turning heads as they toured from Adelaide, stopping off in Port Augusta before making their way down the Eyre Peninsula.
They don't make them like this anymore. Cars from the past were back in the spotlight in Port Lincoln, showing off their former glory.
This is what it's about. It's about getting the car out of the shed and going for a drive and remembering what it was like to drive these old cars.
The vintage car tour involved nearly 60 nostalgic automobiles from the Federation of Historic Motoring Clubs. And although there were many head-turning vehicles, it was a Port Lincoln Jaguar which stole the show.
Some of my enjoyment is working on it and getting it to this stage, but I must admit this is good enjoyment to have other people have a look at it and congratulate you on your workmanship and the finish, and that sort of they appreciate the amount of work that goes into it.
The car rally is a reminder of SA's once prominent auto manufacturing industry, many having been rolled out from the Elizabeth plant, which is set to close forever in October.
There's a lot of cars here that were actually produced in South Australia, and we'll never see another car produced here, unfortunately. That's the way it goes.
The community enjoying a walk down memory lane to an era not forgotten.
The spectators appreciate the older cars more than the later ones because they're cars they don't see. So essentially we're rolling history.
Jason Kemp, Southern Cross News.
To sports news now, and to the footy, and in Whyalla, West have stretched their unbeaten run to 19 matches after a 3-goal win over Centrals yesterday. A 5-goal to 1/3 term set up the win for the Dragons, who remain the team to beat in the Steel City. John Hunt joins us now, and John, they didn't have it all their own way though.
No, they certainly didn't, Tim. Centrals had come off a comfortable win in round 1 and were looking to inflict a defeat on West for the first time since the 2015 Grand Final. A tight first half gave the Roosters a sniff before the class of West shone through in the second half. The first half was a torrid and physical affair, with Centrals keeping within touching distance of the reigning premiers at half-time. The Roosters' pressure forced West into some uncharacteristic mistakes, as the match looked set to be a thriller. However, West came out and put Centrals out of reach, scoring 5-1 to 1-1 for a commanding 6-goal lead at the final break. Centrals scored 6 goals in the final term, but it was to no avail. Grizona, McLean and Everett kicked 3 for the winners, who look early favourites to go back-to-back. In other Whyalla matches, 5 goals from Anthony Malcolm helped North to a 33-point win over the Roos, while South rallied from 7 points down at three-quarter time to defeat the Bays. Over in the Spencer Golf League, West beat Prop Brisbane. Solly's had a thumping win over Port, while a 9-2 first half saw South have a comfortable win over Central. And down in Port Lincoln, Mallee Park were too strong for Boston. Marble Range had a 65-point win over Tasman, while Lincoln South kept Waybacks goalless in the first half, on their way to a 59-point win. Across the border in Broken Hill, North had an easy win over Central, while South scored 100 points in the first half on their way to a win over West. In the northern areas, there were wins for Crystal Brook, Southern Flinders and Broughton Mandurah, and on the York Peninsula, the CMS Crows did what their Adelaide counterparts couldn't do, with a win over Lowly Butte. Central York were too good for Wallaroo, Kadina overcame Parkville, and the Southern Eagles came from behind for a thrilling win over Moonta. So our local leagues are into the swing of things for another season. Our netball and soccer leagues are also well into their seasons, and we'll bring you those results tomorrow night.
Good stuff. Thank you, John. We'll see you then. And if you'd like your local sport featured in our sports wrap, be sure to email us at localsport@sca.com.au. Well, stay with us. After the break, we'll have a look at how the local weather is panning out for the week ahead. Well, after a generally fine weekend, this week is shaping up to be much of the same, and despite some crisp mornings, sunny skies are the order of business. Today was fine with 20 in Port Augusta, 18 today's top in Whyalla, Port Pirie getting to 19, a few scattering showers passing Port Lincoln, 18, Broken Hill fine and mild at 16 the top today. To the national satellite image, it shows some patchy cloud moving just south of the region, little in it though in way of wet weather. Out on the Gulf waters, the winds to 15 knots into the east tomorrow, the seas around a metre and mainly southerly, sunrise just before 7 o'clock. So a fine and sunny day on the cards for tomorrow, looking at a top of 20 in Port Augusta and 18 degrees for Whyalla, Port Lincoln getting to 20, 19 the top in Port Pirie, Broken Hill on 18. And then looking at the week ahead, these fine and mainly clear conditions are set to carry on. Port Lincoln with a fine 22 for Wednesday, then passing showers on Thursday. Clay fine at 21 midweek, 23 for Woodner. Whyalla also fine with 21 for Wednesday, the same for Port Augusta with those sunny conditions lasting a few days more. Temps also around 20 in Kadina. Port Pirie also looking at 21 for Wednesday, the same for Thursday. Clare with 18 both days, and at Broken Hill a top of 20 degrees midweek. And that's the Monday edition of Southern Cross News. Hope you enjoyed your weekend. Don't forget, as always, you can stay up to date with us on Facebook and on Twitter. You can also drop us an email and catch past bulletins on our YouTube channel. We'll see you back here tomorrow night from 6:30. Until then, though, I'm Tim Hatfield from the team here at Southern Cross News. Have a good evening. Good night.